Hi, welcome back to Missouri's Cricket Barn Homestead. This is Debbie, and we are out here right now. We just got through feeding all the animals. These are the hogs. One of them's sitting in the trough right now, which is pretty cute. This is a Kune. She's pretty small for a Kune, actually, because we have another Kune over here. She's lost some of her hair because she's older. She's 6 years old, and she's pretty large. Probably topping about 350 pounds. And then we've got our little Duroc pigs at about 150 to 200 pounds each. We just finished feeding them. We've got a pretty nice setup going on here. We've got some big 25-gallon buckets here. They were old mineral buckets, but now they become water buckets, and they work just fine. We've got a blue one. We've got a black one. We've actually got 3 of them in here, but they don't go through one in a day because we actually mix their food with water as well, so they're getting a whole lot of water there. You can see she's still eating right there. Our big hog, Plunger, he's already went back into the stall for the day because it's getting pretty hot out here. We're probably looking at about 93 today. But they're doing pretty well on their pasture here. They haven't eaten it down yet. They have started on it, but they haven't really eaten a whole lot of it down so far. They have been so used to being on just feed and not really having any room. So this is a nice little thing for them. That is Lola. She is the larger black with brown Kune. And then we have Ginger, and we've got Waylon, who is the small boar, and he's already went in to lay down. And the little one is Cinnamon, who's in the trough right now. Here's our little goat. He's trying to eat the rest of the feed out of the bucket. That is Buckwheat. He's a little Nigerian dwarf. And then we've got our 2 larger girls, which we have renamed Maggie and Rummy. One was Rumchata, one was Margaret. This is Rumchata here, who is now Rummy. She's pretty cute. She's a black La Mancha with a precocious udder. And a precocious udder means that she's already producing milk, even though she's never been bred and she doesn't have any kids. So we could technically milk her, but we don't want her to get milk fever or anything, so we're just not doing that. We would rather have her bred before doing that. And then we've got Maggie running around here somewhere. She's probably over at the trees. She likes to get up to the trees and pull some leaves down and eat those.
Yes, I saw her run this way.
That's my grandson talking in the background. So let's look around the pasture, see if we can find her. She was a little upset because I didn't let her just eat the rabbit food that we had. Yeah, she's down in there eating some grass in the small pasture we have here. We're getting ready to have our hired help to come back out again and stretch another line of fence so we can have a rotating pasture. We have 2 pastures right now. There she goes. She's trying to head back to the barn. She thinks she's going to get in there and get the rabbit food, but she's not. So the rabbits have similar food to what the goats have. They eat a lot of alfalfa and things like that and Timothy hay. They haven't been out in the pasture very much because we've been trying to make sure that they don't get used to trying to jump. And see, we've got a little pile of stuff that came out of the barn that we haven't taken off yet. And it's actually kind of became their play place. There's not anything in there that can harm them. It's just a bunch of wood. No nails or anything like that. There's some studs and there's some T-posts. And she just ran over a T-post. We have a big pool of water out here that we're using for the ducks, but they also drink out of that, and the ducks haven't actually used it at all. So that works out just fine. So we don't have to have other buckets out here right now. They have some buckets in their stalls with water and things like that. But usually they come out here and try to get at the fence with the pigs. We're trying to keep them away and separate from the pigs, but they kind of hang out at the fence. But the pigs kind of ignore them. They won't really do anything. So, and I just got inside the fence with the pigs here just a few minutes ago because I had to get their trough back up here. They moved their troughs around and didn't have any issues with that. They really just don't pay any attention to what's going on in there. They just are interested in food. And they've already eaten. In fact, Plunger ate so much that he was just finished and went on in the barn to take a nap. He is in here somewhere at the moment, or he might be down in the field. Looks like he might be down in the field asleep, most likely. No. No. And I've got a grandson, 6 years old, who's back here telling me to tell you guys this, and that, and he's wanting to tell about the cat. We've got a barn cat and all kinds of things. But let's walk up here and take a look at our garden, which is growing by leaps and bounds. And you can see the difference that the garden has went through. We had some rain night before last, and it was almost 2 inches of rain, which helped out so much in the just burst of growth in this garden. We have lost a few okra to, I think, birds cutting them off because we have fencing around the garden, and we have eliminated most of the rabbit problem. We still had a little bit of a rabbit problem that we're still working on, but everything is looking amazing except for the gaps, which we've already replanted, and those are coming up. We have a whole bunch more okra that is coming up, and we already planted some more okra in a separate location. So we have okra one way or the other, and our watermelons are starting to get runners on them. You can see here again, I'm a little bit behind everyone else because everyone here in northern Missouri started planting back in March with their potatoes and things, and they put their warm weather crops out in April. So I'm a little bit behind simply because it took us a while to get moved, get everything set up, get the garden tilled and planted. But things are really starting to catch up. Our cucumbers started bursting forth with more growth, starting to bloom. Cucumbers located back there. I don't want to walk through the garden right now. I have to anyway a little bit later because I got to tie up some tomatoes. We just used regular stakes this year for the tomatoes because we don't have time to get up any longer trellises and work on those frames. But our tomatoes are just amazing. Half of these, of course, were tomatoes we brought from Cheyenne, and half were purchased. All of them are caught up with each other and doing fantastic. We only had a couple of them that have kind of struggled, and they're starting to take off now. There's one here, one there. We had a couple of tomatoes that were cut down, I think, by gophers, and we have since kind of worked with the gophers a little bit, and they're not actually bothering anything anymore. And I'm not really sure if they're moles or gophers. They may be just moles. We haven't really spotted what it is yet. Our corn is doing fantastic. This is the popcorn. This is Amish popcorn. And it really has started bursting forth. We actually planted in a few seeds where some did not come up, and they have already came out and have almost caught up with the others. Look at all of our zucchini and yellow straight neck squash, and all of our red curry squash and Boston marrows. They are already starting to get runners on them. They've only been in the ground for about 3 weeks. Look at that. They're pretty amazing. And then all of our early Sunglow hybrid corn and our peaches and cream corn just bursting, and all of our beans with just all kinds of growth. We've already thinned the corn. I'll probably have to go in and thin a little bit more, but just looking amazing. The soil here is fantastic. You can see there's very few rocks what few there are. We've already just pushed them out of the way. Eggplants are now starting to catch on, but we have some butternut squash out beyond that that is just going crazy with runners and blooming. And then our cabbages are starting to really spread out, as well as our cauliflower. We did not have any broccoli this year, just simply because of timing. Most people had already gotten their broccoli plants, and I didn't have time to start more seeds, but I will be starting some here for fall planting. Our celery is really starting to take off now. It's really darkening up, getting bigger. And I went on a couple of garden tours yesterday with our Master Gardeners group and saw some really beautiful celery that someone had planted in a greenhouse. And they had planted in a lot of sand. It was looking pretty amazing. We have not had any germination of lettuce and spinach and things like that because it's just been too hot. We've had temperatures in the 90s mostly. Our rutabagas are doing pretty well. We've thinned those out, so we should have some pretty nice rutabagas. Our carrots are really bouncing back from just having a hard time getting started, but they are really going now. I had to pause there. I got a grandson who's acting up in the background. Had to take care of that. Anyway, we have our cabbages over here. We've had a couple of them, again, that suffered from some attack of rabbits. And since we have gotten rid of them, they're starting to bounce back now. Hopefully we'll be able to get some good cabbages off of these guys because we saw some pretty amazing cabbages yesterday at the garden tour as well. And our potatoes, our onions are doing just okay. I'm just not sure. Probably need to get in here and get some of the soil out from around the onions and get some weeds out of here. I think we've got a lot of weed pressure from where this was broken ground and it was basically all grass. So we need to get in here and get that out of here and get the soil out from around them so they can bulb up. And then our potatoes are actually starting to bloom already. We've already hilled them up once. We'll probably hill them up a couple more times. But they're looking amazing. But you can see some bloom heads on them already. I will step into this area because it's a little bit drier already. But you can see some bloom heads on those potatoes. These are all Kennebecs and a purple variety of potato. And then I have most of my Kennebecs from Cheyenne have made it back here and are in a bag, as well as some blue potatoes and some more purple potatoes. And that's what this new area over here is going to be for. We tilled this all up now that the weeds have died back and I haven't seen any more weeds popping up very much. We'll get in here and till it one more time because this was fresh broken ground, and then we will get it planted. So you can see how amazing the garden is just going. Looking beautiful. And hoping to do a lot of canning. Let's hope that everything goes okay, and then we'll get some more things planted for fall. We're going to have peas and things like that we're going to need to plant. And I found some onions that I'd had in my box of seeds. Some bulbs that I must have just thrown in there, and I thought they were just completely dried out and were not worth planting, so I had just thrown them in here to compost out, and they actually started sprouting all in my kale bed. So I went in and pulled them out and put them in with my other onions, and they're actually doing a lot better than some of the other onions are doing, which is surprising. But just beautiful amount of growth. Our sweet potatoes have really started taking off now, getting a lot of vines on them. And hopefully we'll have some good sweet potatoes this season. So everything's looking beautiful, except for what got attacked by rabbits and is now trying to recover. But everything is looking really good, especially those beans. The beans just look amazing. And that corn. So that's just a little bit of an update of what's going on here around the homestead. I've been really, really busy with all the animals and getting everything in a routine, figuring things out. You can actually see some of our new okra that we planted. There's one there, and you can see them all the way out. I just put them in between our squash, and they are doing pretty amazing. They just popped up within about 3 days. which is pretty unusual for okra. So we're going to go ahead and get these tomatoes tied up, and we'll see you back in another video pretty soon, hopefully with a little bit more of what's going on, and we'll go around and visit some things. We actually had a recent tragedy here with a puppy that we had taken in, and he actually killed 28 of our new chickens. So we are trying to recover from that. It was a very sad time because we had already become attached to those chickens. We already knew each individual one. We're all named, and unfortunately we had taken in the wrong type of puppy trying to give him a home. So he already has a new home that he just went home to yesterday. And hopefully he'll be with someone with an older dog and an older lady that's going to be able to really give him a good home, and she doesn't have any chickens. So that is really good. So anyway, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for notices on new videos as they come out. And we will see you in the next one.